All right, everybody. Unhappy Wednesday. Coming to you live once again from our humble abode here in Southwest Ohio. This is the Unhappy Gilmore Show, powered by Green Legion Radio and part of the Green Legion Radio family. We thank you for joining us tonight from wherever you may be and whatever service you're using to tune in. Please pull a chair, turn up the volume, use the company dime if you're still stuck at work. Crack open a cold one if you've got the opportunity, and let's have fun as we put an end to day 3 of this week's hostage situation and look forward to tomorrow being Friday Eve. How the hell are all of you? I see Lou Mancini already in the room and Russ Taylor getting a little pixelated. Yeah, I think I'm having Wi-Fi issues here at home. I may try to go onto my hotspot here in a second. I can see the little thing. And so if this gets too bad, guys, call it out and I will try to switch. We'll see if it works switching in the middle here. But for now, we're going to try to run with it. And yeah, we're just going to try to run with it. I'm trying to get to my hotspot here. I don't know where the hell. Give me a second here, fellas. Sorry, there we go. Mobile hotspot. Yes, okay. Okay. Very good. Very good. All right. We're going to try to run with it here. Lou Mancini in the room. Russ Taylor in the room. Lou Mancini telling us it's Thursday Eve. I'm off for Veterans Day on Friday. Well, very good. There you go. I am not. I've actually got 2 pretty hectic days coming up. We got a lot of people off tomorrow and Friday. Tomorrow in particular, and then a few more off on Friday. So going to be pretty busy for me leading into the weekend. Thank God it's a bye week. I don't know about the rest of you, but obviously the team needs it more than we do. But as far as fans go, I don't think I've ever been as ready for a bye week as I am right now. So we are definitely looking forward to having a week of relaxing rather than the series of mini heart attacks that the Eagles give us every week. Don't get me wrong. Love watching the Birds every Sunday, but it has been it's been a stressful season so far. So we are, we're looking forward to some time to recuperate and relax. And well, right on the heels of that, Unhappy Gilmore will be heading to Kansas City. We're going to leave next Friday, meet up with Quimby, Steph, Sam, and whoever else gets there on Saturday, and then, do our thing through the weekend, a Monday night game, and then head back home. And that'll be a season for us here. That'll be it. We'll shut it down after that. It'll be strictly Midwest Eagles Nest from there on out for this guy. Unless I hit the lotto. Then I'm going to go to every game imaginable. So Russ Taylor says he's alive. Very good. Keenan Harmon in the room. Hotspot sounds like fun. Yeah, usually not. When I have to resort to that, it's because my stupid Wi-Fi is not doing its job. I have Spectrum service. And I'm sure, I don't know how many of you saw, I think, was it Quimby? No, he was posting about Xfinity, I think. I have a cousin, so you wouldn't have seen it. She was posting about it. Spectrum's a pain in the ass everywhere. Brian Walden in the room. What's good, everybody? How you doing, my friend? Brian, again, I need a week without Eagles football after that game. After that game, I think Russ Taylor's got it right here too, right? I need the bye week. My liver needs the bye week. My voice needs the bye week. Getting this group together every Sunday out here and all the yelling and, trying to get everybody pumped up takes its toll. Monday mornings, I not nearly Keenan what you would have seen in Arizona, but it's still pretty rough, and it's still a little rough right now. Brian Wells jumps in. You still have a liver? Like, you're one to talk. All right, let's get to a little bit of the normal jargon here before we get off and have some fun. Folks, if you're tuning in on Facebook or Twitter, please do not forget to like, follow, share, and subscribe to the Green Legion. If those services are where you're more comfortable, we totally understand. But please also understand, and you can ask any of the folks currently in the room if you're in the room with them, the YouTube channel is the best way to view, listen, and comment on any Green Legion radio show. So please do us a solid, even if you're more comfortable on Facebook, Twitter, or wherever. Go ahead and go over to YouTube, search the Green Legion, subscribe, hit your little bell for notifications, and don't forget to share those links everywhere. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, everything, Instagram, share it all over the place. If you cannot catch our shows live, you can always watch or listen later on any of the services previously mentioned, but also on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. For Green Legion Radio, the Players Show, the pregame show, you catch those on 102.5 Fox Sports The Gambler. They're in the Philadelphia area. You also can go to iHeartRadio, use the app, search for 102.5 Fox Sports The Gambler. Subscribe to that, and you can listen from anywhere around the world. So you always have that option as well. Don't miss that Players Show. Really good time. Not the interactive that we do here on Wednesday nights, but you do have Eagles insider Dave Spadaro. You do have a former player agent. You get a current Eagle from the roster. So like last night, it was Eli Ricks. Very entertaining, very informative, a lot of fun, and the guys there do an absolutely fantastic job. Do not miss it. As for this show, Unhappy Gilmore Show, still looking for sponsors, guys. If you like what you're seeing, you're having fun on Wednesday nights, you want this to continue, we've got to get some sponsorship going. So if you or anyone you know would be willing to do that, what this would include would be, we would do live reads on this show. We would also advertise across all of Green Legion's social media outlets. Okay, so that's going to reach tens of thousands of people, not just in the Philly, not just in the greater Philadelphia area. There's also a huge following down in Florida. There is, I'm here in Ohio. There's plenty of people out here that I've been able to rope into listening to us. But if you do know anybody that would be interested, please do not hesitate to drop a line so I can give you some more information on that. Also, for anyone local here to Ohio, in this area, anybody from my Midwest Eagles nest, willing to take this show and go remote and do it live somewhere else. We've done it a bunch of times from the back porch. Be willing to do that, at any other establishment. If you think it might be some fun, we can talk about that on Sundays if you're coming up for games, or game days if you're coming up for games. Or you can reach out to me here on social media, or call me if you got my number. We'll talk. As for Green Legion Invasions, guys, not much left. Okay. We talked last week, told you Kansas City was sold out. All right. If you're already booked for Kansas City, I'll see you there. The hotel and travel stuff is sold out. The game tickets are also sold out. And I think at this point, if they haven't already, and I forgot to confirm this portion of it with Steph, they haven't already, they're going to start, shutting down the pep rally and tailgate stuff too, if that hasn't happened already. As for the rest, Dallas is sold out for travel and game tickets as well. So you have tailgate only, pep rally only, or a combination of the two. Tailgate only would be $85. Pep rally only $75. Or I'm sorry, $70. And the combination of the two, obviously, $155. Other than that, we are talking about Seattle, although there are limited options left available there. So if that's something you were looking at, do not hesitate. We always say, he who hesitates, you know the rest. And then the bus trip for the Giants. I don't know if that one's sold out. I don't think so. If it isn't, it will be rather soon. And that's it, guys. Punta Cana sold out. Obviously, Kansas City. Everything else is behind us. And it's the home games. If you're traveling to Philadelphia, or if you're in the Philadelphia area and you're looking for a tailgate to go to for a home Eagles game, trips.greenlegion.com. Go to the home tailgate options. Buy tickets. 100% worth it. 4 hours of all you can eat, all you can drink prior to Philadelphia Eagle home games. Also, we'll get front row seating there for the pregame show with the folks from Green Legion Radio. As for us out here, Midwest Eagles Nest, the first thing I want to do, we got word from my partner with my co-founder with the Midwest Eagles Nest, the GM at the back porch, Mike Solon, put up a post in our group. Our server, Debbie, she is the one who deals with your horrendous drink orders every week. She's the one that deals with your additions and subtractions to your food, your itemized bills, and whatever else in between, squeezing through all of us there as we're jumping up, yelling and screaming. She's got a little bit of a health issue. So she has, she went in to get looked at. She's going to be down for the count for a little bit. So anybody who is, part of our group out here, or anyone who just wants to keep an extra someone in their thoughts and prayers, Debbie, we are all thinking about you. Can't wait to get you back. But take your time. It's like I told you when we talked face to face, we don't need you for one game. We want you for the long haul, dear. So you get yourself better, and we'll be there waiting for you. Promise. As for the rest of it, business as usual. Drink specials, $16 buckets. It's 5 12-ounce bottles, Bud Light, Miller Lite, and Yingling. 22-ounce draft Bud Light, and Yingling for $3, served in our Kelly Green Eagles cups. And again, still got the raffle tickets. $1 a piece. If we can get enough head count up there on a consistent basis, like I keep saying, doesn't make a whole lot of sense for 5 people to buy raffle tickets. Okay, we want to get a good head count up there and really make it worth it for you guys. So, and then of course we've also got the wristbands. Only a few left though. I think I've only got about 10 or 12 left. So, if you're interested in that, those are $2 a piece. And that is all I've got. All that stuff we try to do up at the back porch every week with, I keep preaching the raffle, the wristbands, all that stuff generates money into a pot for the group. Okay. It doesn't go to the bar. It doesn't go to me. It doesn't go to Mike. It doesn't go to anyone. It goes to us as a group. If you start talking about next baseball season and we want to do a Reds game and we got 20 tickets and it's $1,500 or whatever. And, we've got $500 in the pot. Well, you take that $500, just for example, now it's only $1,000 divided by 20 instead of $1,500 divided by 20. So just stuff like that, just as an example. It would also go a long way for us to be able to get you guys, better things to raffle off, door prizes, stuff like that. I put a post up in the group of some things that happen out at Rock Bar in Scottsdale, Arizona. They're huge group in that bar. There is also a huge group up in Columbus here, and they do stuff like that. And that's where we want to get to, folks. So, I'm passionate about it. Mike and I, we dove in kind of, I don't know, feet first, head first, whatever way you want to look at it, halfway through last year. And the group is good now. I love the folks that we have. I love over the last couple of weeks, we've seen newer faces show up. What we want is to continue adding those new faces, but then all the regulars to show up every week too, right? Then we're talking 40, 50, and you grow from there. Some other exciting things we're trying to do. We are trying to, Wawa is going to open up a bunch of stores here over the next couple of years. The rumor is that they will break ground in summer 2024 for grand opening summer 2025. Now, talking to some folks up in Philly, I'm not going to give away too many details here. It's my understanding that Wawa is usually more aggressive breaking ground to grand opening. We're talking a matter of months rather than a year. So what we want to do as a group, as the Midwest Eagles Nest, is we want to be the ones that are at that first store that opens. We want to be the first customers there. We want to be out there advertising our group, okay, in this area. So that's one thing that Mike and I are working on. And it sounds like I'm going to get some help. I'm sure, as would come as no surprise to any loyal Green Legion follower. sounds like Super Sam is going to be able to possibly help with some of that. Talk to her more about that when we're in Kansas City. The other thing we're trying to do, one of our folks in our group, Roger, if you're listening, my brother, he goes to a spot up in Dayton where Keith Byers does a program. And the thought is to try to get Keith down to watch a game with us at the back porch and hopefully advertise that he's doing so. So just a couple of things that we're trying to do from this season into the off season and stuff like that to try to make it, to make the group bigger, make it more fun for you guys. And yeah, so we're excited, and hopefully we can give more details on that as we move along. All right, we're gonna stop with that for now. That's what I've got. What have you guys been talking about over here? Brian Wald. I've been missing his. I serve food. Oh, I got you. Yeah, there we go. Keenan Harmon, thank you. The player show will be Tuesday from 7 to 9 for the next couple of weeks. And that is at Chickies and Pete's out in Jersey. Sydney Brown next Tuesday and Britton Covey the following week. Was supposed to be Covey, was it last night? And then, scheduling wise or whatever, that had to get switched around. So Eli Ricks. Look, it's just really cool, right? Dave Spadaro, a former player agent and a current Philadelphia Eagle. It's a really, really awesome 2-hour show. It's from 7 to 9. It's not from, like 9 to 11 or something like that, where, for those of us that have to get up at the butt crack of dawn, it's not keeping us up incredibly late. And it's a really, really informative and fun show to listen to. So don't miss that. Lou Mancini, prayers for Debbie. Thank you, Lou. And Keenan as well. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll be sure to spread that that she's getting some love from the Green Legion faithful as well. Lou Mancini says Wawa used to be good. I agree, man. They are definitely down from what they used to be, and that's probably a lot due to the expansion. The more you spread out, the more things get watered down. It's not as good. But hey, we are we're excited for it out here because we don't have that here. So Brian Wells, Keith Byers went to Trotwood High School in Dayton. Yes, exactly. From Dayton, and is still in the area. So Russ Taylor, I have a friend named Dawn, and she hates the phrase ass crack of dawn. Don't we all, brother? Don't we all? All right. Let's take care of the boner of the week stuff here. I've got 2 of them. I was only going to do one, and then the frustration boiled over. Lou Mancini, you kind of gave me that last nudge that I needed to add the the second one in. Suzanne Trainer says Wawa has pizza. All right. Yeah, Wawa's got a little bit of everything, right? So any of my folks from Ohio that listen now or later, like and don't really know what a Wawa really is, liken it a little bit to a Sheetz or something like that, but better, right? People up in the Philly, Jersey area, when you look at the coffee, right? People are either Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks, or Wawa, right? There's no like, oh, I kind of like this, I kind of like that. It's very so. We're getting a bunch of them out here, and we're excited about it. No, Russ, not the player that broke Dallas's arm. But let's get into it here. Again, was only going to do one. We're going to go 2 tonight. And we're going to start with Skip Bayless. And I don't really know how the hell I haven't nominated him before. I think what we're going to start doing is, because a lot of you do follow me on Facebook. I think I'm going to start putting up a post every week and letting you guys kind of vote on who you think it should be. But Skip Bayless, have you seen this idiot's since Sunday's Eagles win? So this unbearable turd, Brian Wells, he should be on the list every week. I agree. You can put him on every week because he's such a schmuck. But I got to spread it around. But this unbearable turd had the absolute nerve to get in front of a camera and with 100,000 infinite percent conviction proclaim that after Sunday's game, it's absolutely clear that Dallas is the better team over Philadelphia. With all conviction. And he went out there and he was throwing all kinds of stats around. Don't get me wrong, valid stats. Time of possession, yardage. Dak had a big game. CeeDee Lamb ate us up. They were smart to put CeeDee Lamb in the slot and force us into an uncomfortable spot in the secondary, an area where we're already not very strong, in particular the middle of the field. But he forgot the most important stat of all. The score, Skip. The score is the most important number out of any game in any sport anywhere. Like when we lost to the Jets. Were we the better team that day? Were we unequivocally better than the Jets that day? No, we were not. You can't turn the ball over 4 times and expect to live to tell the story. Just like the Cowboys on Sunday night. They didn't turn the ball over 4 times, but you want to talk about lack of field awareness and, Skip, the way I sum it up is the best teams in the league, we find ways to win games like that on a pretty regular basis, okay? Tight games like that, especially in your own house, you find a way to win. I don't need to go through all of the stats for Jalen Hurts when he's actually trailing in a game. I know all of you have seen that. I am not going to regurgitate all that. He is absolutely incredible. I think his passer rating when he's down is like 121. He's amazing. The best teams in the league find ways to win games like that, Skip. Not lose them. And, sorry, not sorry, but your Blue Star scumbags, you once again come up small in the most important moments, okay? Perfect example. If that's Jalen Hurts going in for 2, he doesn't step out of bounds. You're going to have to smash him to stop him from getting in there. Jalen knows where he's at on the field. Dak Prescott, that's just Dak being Dak, right? It's just Dak doing Dak things. Just a bonehead play in an enormous moment. How many more times do we have to see that? You want to tell me the Cowboys are unequivocally better than the Philadelphians? And Keyshawn Johnson ripped his head off for it, which was fabulous, right? Again, look, I'm not going to sit here and say Dallas. Did any of you think we were going to go blow Dallas out on Sunday? Because I would tell you, if you did, I've also got some magic beans to sell you. It wasn't going to happen, okay? We play each other tough. It just is the way it is. Those games are going to be a bunch of mini heart attacks all the time, okay? No, I do not believe Dallas is as good or better than Philadelphia right now. Do I think Dallas is still a decent football team? Yeah, I do. I just don't have any faith in Dak Prescott to come up big in big moments. Stepping out of bounds in that spot is the perfect example. That game's in overtime if he doesn't step out of bounds. Okay? And then who the hell knows what happens? But he steps out of bounds. And that ain't luck, guys. I hear a lot of people, the Eagles were fortunate. He stepped out. Oh, bullshit. That's not luck. Look, if this is Dak's first, second, third year and he makes that happens, all right, you know what? He's young. This is 8 years now. And he makes these mistakes in these big spots, whether it's an interception, a fumble. Look at the game against Arizona. They're going in. He throws the interception, right, to our old friend Kazir White. And I mean, he threw it right to him. The behind the quarterback camera is one of my favorite things in the league, because then you can see what the quarterback is actually seeing. How the hell he doesn't see Kazir White there is beyond me. Throws it right to him, right? I get that we were bearing down on him, that he didn't have a whole lot of room to move over there, but he still stepped out of bounds. You got to make the defender make the play. Instead, you made it for him. Dad, step out of bounds. Stooge. Whatever. Like I said, it's just another example of Dak doing Dak things. Andrew Bagley in the room. What's up, brother? How are you doing? Nice to see you this week. Now, a side note on that game about the complaining about the penalties again. Just shut up. Just enough already. Look, if you want to leave the game, first of what I'll tell you is both teams were penalized 10 times. Okay? So both teams were pretty sloppy. And let's not forget the gifts that Dallas was. Skip, I'm talking to you still. Let's not forget the gifts that you were given on that last drive when you got all the way down to our 6-yard line before your team, led by Dak Prescott, decided to throw up all over itself again in a big spot. Let's not forget that, right? Let's not forget the litany of holding calls and hands to the face calls that were never thrown. Don't want to talk about that though, right, Skip? Dallas is unequivocally better. Dude, enough, right? Just enough. Like, and the constant week in and week out complaining about penalties. It started when we beat Miami and we didn't get penalized at all. Now, look, let's be fair. Do I think there's ever a game where a team should go through and not get flagged at all? No, I don't. You could literally call holding on every single play. It's just a matter of how much the refs are willing to deal with. But it started there, not to mention the fact that, also when they went back and looked at that game and saw the missed calls that we didn't get whistled for, they also found 10 more that Miami didn't get flagged for. So knock it off, right? Just knock it off. Anyone out there complaining about that stuff, I challenge any of you to switch spots with one of those referees and try to keep up with the size and the speed of the NFL players during live game action. Go for it, right? None of you in the room, not me, not Quimby, not anybody. There's one person in this room right now that knows exactly what I'm talking about. I'm sure you would agree 1,000%, and that's Brian Wells. He's a football coach, and I'd love to have him on the show sometime. You are not going to get every call. You're going to miss way more than you get. The game is so much faster than it used to be. And to make matters worse, the camera angles from everywhere. There's 3 cameras in the pylon. 3 in the little thing. Like, and these refs, dude, these guys are not like spring chickens here, okay? These guys are, most of them older than me. I'm 44. The fact that they actually do get a number of these calls correct is impressive. Do I think they blow a lot of them? Yeah, I do. Do I think they've always blown a lot of them? Yeah, I do. Do I think we are more aware of it now because of all the billion camera angles? You're damn right I do. And the way they slow everything down so you can see every little blade of grass move? Come on. To the human eye, enough. Anyways. Skip Bayless, you are Boner of the Week number 1. Boner of the Week number 2 is a two-headed monster. And Lou Mancini, I'm going to thank you for, I thought about it on my ride home from work. I saw your text. I answered you. I wasn't going to do it, but I thought about it on my ride home from work. I'm like, no, you know what? This needs to happen. And these are guys I've called out before. I know you guys don't care. A lot of you don't care much about baseball, and you care even less about the Yankees. But Hal Steinbrenner, the owner, and general manager and VP of baseball operations, Brian Cashman, you two are nominee number 2. And I'm going to tell you why. We're going to run through this quickly so we can get back to football. So Hal, the owner, comes out and defends the organization's just absolutely pathetic commitment to the overuse of analytics. Our friend David Conant, he gave me something. I forget who he said had originally said it, but the way it's summed up from the quote he got was analytics. It's another piece of information that it should be up to the manager of the team to give that information to players who want it. Okay? The players who don't, leave them the hell alone. Right? And I've contended the same type of thing. There's a place for that sort of information as a tool to use in complement to actual baseball knowledge and baseball people. Problem the Yankees have, and what Hal has allowed Cashman to do, is they've kicked out all the baseball people. Okay? And they've replaced them with nerds, with iPads. And David Califoot said he was coming in here tonight, and I'm sure he would love this part if he can see this. But they've replaced it they've replaced the baseball people with nerds, right? I feel like Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds, right? That's what I would feel like walking into this establishment, right? Yes, Russ Taylor, nerds. Reggie Jackson he did an interview with Chris Russo on Mad Dog Unleashed on Mad Dog Radio earlier this year. Reggie Jackson doesn't get invited to Yankees spring training anymore. Because the last time he was there, that's exactly what he saw. The baseball people are gone, and it's a bunch of nerds with freaking iPads. Steinbrenner, you've allowed Brian Cashman, and that's not just the major league level with the Yankees. It is all the way through the entire organization. It's being constructed based off of numbers on a freaking spreadsheet. You're a dope for letting Cashman do that. You are a weak sauce dope. Now let's get to Cashman. This clown, on the heels of Steinbrenner, talking about, trying to defend the commitment to analytics, Cashman's clown ass comes out with his own ridiculous quote, and word for word, I quote, "I think we're pretty effing good." Do you? Do you really? Two things that shows from Cashman. As reminded, president of baseball operations and general manager of the New York Yankees. I think we're pretty effing good. Shows you two things about that man. One, he's a complete idiot. And two, he's a complete idiot. We'll leave the pitching staff out of it for now, which is basically the starting rotation is basically Garrett Cole and pray for 5 days of rain. Let me tell you what this pretty effing good lineup did at the dish for the 2023 season. Mind you, nicknamed the Bronx Bombers. Here you go. These are the team statistics. 225 batting average, 29th in the league. 1,122 hits, 29th in the league. 699 OPS, which for those of you that don't know is your on-base percentage plus your slugging percentage. 699, 26th in baseball. They had 611 RBIs. That's 25th in the league. 634 runs scored, 26th in the league. I'm sorry, the RBIs were 25th. At 198 doubles, 30th in baseball. 13 triples, 27th in baseball. Oh, but wait. We were 8th in home runs with 209. See, where home runs help is if you can get people on base. So what does that tell you? 209 homers, 8th in the league. All this other crap, we're in the bottom 5 in baseball. You get a bunch of solo home runs. And then you're going to come into this year, you're not going to make any moves that are worth the crap, right? You're going to keep telling us that Stanton's going to be healthy, even though we know he won't. You're going to keep telling us that Nestor Cortez is going to be the number 2 starter. Or the better one is Luis Severino, right? Who hasn't been worth half of his weight since 2019. Okay? Another one that can't stay healthy. And you come into the league and think we're pretty effing good. And where is the offense coming from? You got Anthony Rizzo at first base, who is no longer a middle of the order hitter, not on a consistent basis. Okay. At second base, you got Gleyber Torres, who's probably the most streaky hitter in the American League. At shortstop, there's Volpe, the rook, this past year, who, while he had some okay power numbers and a decent glove, he can't hit. Can he get to 250 before we anoint him the next coming of Christ? At third base, what are you going to do over there? DJ LeMahieu signed a contract and fell off the shelf. 6'4", 220 pounds. I told everybody he was moving to a corner infield position at some point. Or is it going to be Mia Khalifa or Isaiah kind of Falefa, whatever the hell his name is, over there at third base? Yeah, he's a stud. Then you get to the outfield. Who the hell's playing left? Nobody. Right? You want to tell me you're going to go get Juan Soto? Great. Another corner outfielder / DH to match up with Stanton? Awesome. We got nobody in center field. You're going to keep Jason Dominguez up? That would be what I would prefer. Give the kid a shot. And finally, at the catcher spot, which we forgot about, you're all defense, no stick at all. And finally, you get to right field, where you have, when he's healthy, a guy who is possibly the best player in the game. If not, he's top 3 in Aaron Judge. But it can't just be Judge. He'll never get a pitch to hit in that lineup. And so, pretty effing good? No, you're pretty effing moron, dude. Like, that, and for all those reasons and a whole lot more that we talked about during the season that I am not going to get back into because we're going back to football here. Skip Bayless and the two-headed monster of Hal Steinbrenner and Brian Cashman, y'all are the boners of the week. All right, I need to take a breath. I promise you a rant too, and there it was. So, who is over here? Russ Taylor, 2000 through 2019. If Tom Brady was doing the tush push, it wouldn't be a problem. Shut up and call it the brotherly shove. Brotherly shove, tush push, cheek sneak. I don't care what you call it. Call it a first down or a touchdown. Lou Mancini, Skip Dickless. Nice. Stacy Rogers. Preach. Yeah. Absolutely. Glad to have you aboard. Nice to see you. Andrew Bagley, Eagles getting 2.5 points on Monday night in Kansas City in the Super Bowl rematch. Yeah, I'll tell you what, we're going to talk about that stuff here in just a minute. We're going to get back over to football. Russ Taylor. Actually, I could keep up. I'm an NFL veteran. Madden veteran. Oh, and don't get me started with those folks. The Madden Warriors. These are the folks that are all over social media. Every time there's a new free agent, somebody's rumored to be on the trading block, they think we should just go grab everyone. These are the folks that play Madden with the salary cap turned off, likely on rookie difficulty as well. Michael Scott, how are you doing? It's the managers that use their gut and analytics. Look, a Texas manager did this season, and he is as perfectly stated. Analytics are there as a complement to baseball, not as the Bible. Thank you. Stacy Rogers, I love watching your show for this right here. Yeah, I haven't given you guys a good rant in a while, so wanted to get that in. Michael Scott, when the Yankees are bad, baseball is good. Well, the league would probably disagree with you, but I understand where you're coming from. Russ Taylor, I was asked, could I spend 5 minutes with Mike Tyson or Mia Khalifa? I got a better chance against Tyson. Nice. All right. So at this time, like I do every week, and I've actually had to put this in my notes for the show to make sure I do it. There's the StreamYard link coming up right now. If anybody wants to jump in, join the show, and give your opinions on what we're about to talk about here for the last 15, 20 minutes, feel free to click that link and hop on in. If not, I'll just continue to fly solo here. No worries. So, we're halfway through, y'all. Okay? So, we want to take a look at where, most importantly, where our birds are. And then if we can get to some of the other teams, fine. If not, we'll save that for next week as we lead into Kansas City. And I've got some good Kansas City stuff. Don't know if I'm going to do it on this show or if I'm going to save it all for the pregame show out in KC, but we'll see what happens next week with that. Anyways, we're 8-1. Albeit with a healthy or unhealthy dose of mini heart attacks every week, we are 8-1. Okay? Middle of the defense has been soft. I'm sure all of you just saw Nakobe Dean is back on the IR again. You guys, you remember me talking about it. I've said it here. I've posted it on my social media a couple different times. I like Nakobe Dean. I think he's a good kid. I was nervous about him. He fell way down in that draft. Undersized a bit. And my concern was and still is, when you take so many guys from one collegiate defense, sooner or later you are likely to find the guy who was much more a benefit of scheme and the players around him than he was actually being as talented as he was made out to be. You can get away with that in college, okay? You can still look like an outstanding football player in college. And I'm not saying we should give up on the kid. But when you get to the pro level, that sort of stuff gets very, very exposed really fast. Now, obviously, the coaches have forgotten more about football than any of us could ever hope to know. And they were convinced that he was ready to come onto the field and be that guy. So, like I said, we're not giving up on him. I do have concern, and their injury are not making me feel any better about it. 8-1, though. This is exactly where, if you remember our preseason thoughts, when we looked at our schedule, it's exactly where we thought our Birds would be. We were even correct about the loss, but it was for a lot different reasons, right? Remember, I was in on the Jets to contend for the AFC East and be a pain in the ass, provided they had a healthy and committed Aaron Rodgers. Never in a million years, once Rodgers went down, did I think we would go into the swamp and lose that game to Zach Wilson. I was not surprised that we came out flat. Think about it. My concern with that game, Rodgers or no Rodgers, was we had the week before flown out to LA to take on the Rams. Now, I had that as a win. Quimby had that as a loss. I understand why. Traveling out west, pain in the neck. My concern was not so much it was the return trip coming back. You're talking about like 6,000 miles traveled over, 8-10 days. So I was not surprised we came out flat. But I was surprised, turning it over 4 times was brutal. And that was easily, and I said, we gave Jalen Hurts the boner of the week coming out of that, right? That was the first time since he had first taken over as a starter that obviously he wasn't the only reason for the loss. There's always more than one reason. But you could definitely look at it and say he was the number one reason for it. All right. It was just a bad game, right? We played terrible. And Jalen wasn't good. Now, he's cleaned it up since then. I believe he has 10 touchdown passes and 1 interception over the last few games. So he seems to have, gotten back on track, which is exactly where we need him. And he is a warrior. We'll talk about that in a couple minutes. But yeah, unfortunately, we had that game right. 8-1. We were also on this show correct about the Vikings game being much closer than it was last season. I know some folks were picking blowout. I did not. I thought we would pull away more at the end. But I believe we talked about it here that it was going to be incredibly difficult to bottle up Justin Jefferson 2 years in a row. We were not going to keep him off the stat sheet 2 years in a row. And sure enough, he ate that night. Now, he didn't get in the end zone. That went to Addison, but Jefferson torched us up and down the field. What was it, 11 or 15 catch? It was some huge number. We were also correct. We were correct about thumping Miami. All right, that was something Quimby and I both agreed on. We were thumping Miami coming into Now, I will tell you, when that game actually came around, I wasn't feeling quite as confident as I was during the preseason, um, because of what Miami had been able to do, um, with that high speed offense. And credit to Sean Desai and Darius Slay and the secondary for, for the most part, keeping Miami under wraps. We did a good job. We held their offense to only 10 points, right? The other 7 came on the what was it? The picks. So we saw all those things coming. What we did not see coming was the rash of turnovers. And even more surprising was that they were coming from Jalen Hurts, right? And he was so good, so clean with the football last. I mean, everybody's gonna turn the ball over, right? You're gonna throw interceptions. You're gonna fumble, especially with a mobile quarterback. It's gonna happen. But he was so clean last year overall that when the rate he was turning the ball over with this year was like, what is the problem here? Why does he look this way? And then come to find out, he's got the knee problem, right? And he looked a bit unsure of himself whether he should try to scramble or stay in the pocket and throw. So I think maybe at least some of what we thought was confusion and, kind of vanilla play calling was on purpose to keep him healthy, to keep him from taking shots. Unfortunately, he's taken some anyways. But again, those turnovers have cleaned themselves up. He's been excellent over the last few weeks, including against Dallas, 131 passer rating, huge second half, every bit the quarterback that we know he is, and the warrior that we know he is. That hit he took on a knee, that was scary. I'm sure all of you, just like me, were like, I mean, you saw the whole season flash before your eyes, right? You want to talk about a tough guy? Jalen is a tough guy. All right. And now we got the bye week, so hopefully, a couple of weeks off here, a couple of weeks in between games, it's enough to at least get some mobility back, have him feeling better. We do know we have that gauntlet of games coming up, though, right? So before we get to that, let's see what you guys are doing over here. Russ Taylor, where is our team? They can lick their wounds and hopefully take this time to reflect on what they need to do to get to Las Vegas. Exactly. That's what the bye week's for. Andrew Bagley, big game at the First Union Center tonight. Sixers, Celtics. No team I hate more than the Celtics. Let's go. So we share that hate, brother. I can't stand this. I really can't stand any sports team in Boston. Even Harvard can go get bent. Like Keenan Herman, please explain how our Birds can't shut down anything in the middle and still the best team in football. Brother, I don't know. Do I think Nakobe Dean is a problem in the middle? I think he might be. I think the team looked a little better with Morrow out there, but it's not like any of them are world beaters. So, yeah, the middle of the field is a problem. The secondary is a problem, and that's really upsetting. Sean Desai's background before now was mostly coaching in the secondary. It wasn't linebackers, linemen, all this. It was he that was his focus. It was a defensive back coach. So to see the struggles, maybe it's part of what we were worried about. Darius Slay's a year older. James Bradbury's a year older. Reed Blankenship gets exposed. Okay. But we've got the bye week to try to figure some things out. And now we're going to come out of it, and it's this gauntlet of games, right? We all know it. The next 5 are at Kansas City, home for Buffalo and Frisco, and then at Dallas and at Seattle. And I will caution everyone to please not sleep on that Seattle game. For multiple reasons. One, it's at Seattle, okay? Notoriously a very difficult place to play. It's going to be cold. And it's at the end of this gauntlet of games. After a road trip in Dallas, So we're likely to be banged up again. All right. Hopefully not. But that's a rough stretch of games. Jeez, I am so sorry, guys. Itch in my throat. Can't get rid of. That is a very rough stretch of games. And to have Seattle at the end of it is not pretty. So don't sleep on that one. You know, when you look at those games coming up, and you look at the defenses we have to go against, Kansas City gets after the quarterback tremendously well. San Francisco gets after the quarterback tremendously well. Dallas gets after the quarterback tremendously well. Seattle is in the bottom of the league with, yards per game. Buffalo is middle of the pack. Buffalo is pretty much right where we thought they would be. Remember when we talked about the AFC East before the season, because that's a division we're playing against. I had the Jets in Miami at the top contending, again, healthy Tua, healthy and committed Rodgers. And Buffalo taking a step back. And they have taken a step back. They're 5-4 and very inconsistent. I liken them a lot to if you watch the Florida Gators football team. Always a ton of talent. Just can't see. The only thing they do consistently is be inconsistent, right? That's the Buffalo Bills. But KC, Frisco, and Dallas, all top 10 defenses, all get after the quarterback, and 2 of those games are on the road. Okay? I'm going to stick to my preseason stuff here, and over these next 5 games, guys, I'm thinking it's the 3-2. Okay? I think we lose at Kansas City, and I think we lose at Dallas, and we win. We take the 2 home games against Buffalo and Frisco, and then we find a way to get that game in Seattle. And then we finish the year home for the Giants, home for the Arizona Crimson Pigeons, and then at the Giants. So those are wins. I mean, they have to be. I mean, those teams are so far beneath us, it's not even funny. Jonathan Gannon coming back into Philadelphia with that team, that's not going to go well. Giants, I understand record-wise they're not, but the Giants may very well be the worst team in football. Offensively, they are the worst team in football. Okay? They've scored 101 points in 9 games. Okay? Like, you're just not going to win. 9.5 points a game, right? Somewhere around there. Is that what that is? Or what is it? 11 points a game. 11 points per game. This is their offense that they and now Daniel Jones is done for the year. Not that he was, lighting it up anyways. You all know my thoughts on him. But Giants, Cardinals, Giants at the end of the year, those have to be 3 wins. Unless that last game against the Giants happens to mean nothing. All right. So at this point, I do still believe that the 14-3 record is well within reach. Okay. You remember before the season, we gave our predictions. We gave what we thought was going to happen. And I said 14-3 was the high water mark. But it's possible that it's a 12-5. Now, what I'm going to say is let's get into the bye week, right? Let's get healthy where we can and come out of it swinging, right? It should be raring to go going into Kansas City. I did pick that one as a loss. More so because it's in Kansas City. If that one was in Philly, I'd probably have us winning it. One thing I want you to note, Cam Jurgens will be back for that game. All right. He could have played last week, but they chose to, and I think very smartly. Look, no reason to rush it now. Sit him against Dallas. Then he's got the bye week. Now we're back against Kansas City. And that's a bigger deal. That injury was a bigger deal than people want to give it credit for. The run game was noticeably different when he went down. Obviously, Jalen's limited mobility because of the knee. But Jurgens being out was a much bigger deal than people want to give it credit for. So, we'll see what happens in Kansas City. I'll be there. We'll see who else will be there too. What else do we got over here? Russ Taylor. I'm still thinking that Bills game is getting moved. Moved to what? The night game? I don't want to hear any more about Sunday Night Football. We've got Right now, there are 2 primetime games left on our schedule. That's at Kansas City on a Monday night on the 20th, and then at Dallas on a Sunday night. Everything else is either 1 o'clock or 4 o'clock on Sunday, and please, God, let it stay that way. All right, enough with the prime time. Need some afternoon. If you're going to move it to 1 o'clock. Like, come on. Patrick Parker, welcome aboard, sir. Let's come out swinging. Let's win 2 big games in a row and come out of it healthy for the stretch run. You have got my vote, sir. Welcome aboard. Nice to see you. That's the right attitude right there. Russ Taylor, do we move Julio to tight end? All right, I've seen a lot of this going around the interwebs. Look, I think in spots you can probably do that. He is a big guy, but I don't think you can come out and line him up like you do Dallas Goedert, right? Just, all the snaps. Look, I like Jack Stoll, okay? But do I think the drop-off from Goddard to Stoll is drastic? Yeah, I do. But Goddard has missed time before. And we found ways to adjust and figure it out. Now, this will be 4 to 6 weeks. Hopefully. It's only that much. And he's a big part of what we do. So, yeah, Julio Jones, whether they're lining him up at tight end or not, Julio Jones is going to get leaned on probably more than he was anticipating when he got signed. So let's hope he's up. Let's hope he's up to it. All right. He's a professional, been in the league a long time. He's a big guy. He adds another great red zone target. And, between him, Jack Stoll, Calcaterra, gets healthy. I think we can piece it together at the tight end spot until Goddard can get back on the field. All right. We are going to post this one more time, folks, for anyone who may be listening and want to click and join in. We're going to wrap up the show here with, did you guys see this ESPN FPI ranking crap? You guys and girls out there, anybody see this nonsense? Might get a little bit more of a rant out of this because it pissed me off. I usually don't get worked up on this stuff. Let them hate, blah, blah, blah. But I think part of it might be because ESPN just annoys the piss out of me anyways. But in case you hadn't seen it, and, at this point, you probably have to be living under a rock. So it's the ESPN Football Power Index rankings after Week 9's games. Okay? The top 6. Kansas City, and this is in order. Kansas City, Baltimore, Buffalo, San Francisco, Miami, and Dallas. They have our beloved Birds ranked 7th. 7th. With the best record in the league and wins over both Miami and Dallas, they have us ranked 7th. Miami ranked 5th. This is a team that hasn't beaten a team with a winning record since September 25th of 2022. We're ranked 3 spots below San Francisco, who's currently on a 3-game losing streak and hasn't scored more than 17 points in a single one of those games. I mean, you got to be kidding me. We're ranked 4 spots below Buffalo, who at 5-4, again, appears to be every bit the team that we said was going to take a step back. They still can't run the ball. Kansas City's in the top spot. I got a bit of a problem with that. They've been shut out in the second half in each of their last 2 games, including that brutal loss to Denver. Denver, who gave up 70 points to Miami. I'll tell you honestly right now, the only team I don't have trouble with on that list is Baltimore. Okay? Right now, they may very well be playing better than anyone in the league. All right? Lamar Jackson has been unbelievable. Their run game is it just come downhill actually with a whole lot of beef. They do a lot of things really well. Now, I say that. Let's see what happens. They got two really tough games coming up, right? Now, they're both home in Baltimore, but one of them is against Cleveland, who right now has the top defense in football, as ridiculous as that sounds. Myles Garrett is, I don't know if he's demonic is the only way I can sum him up. He is an absolute spaz. So that's going to be Sunday in Baltimore. And then they got a quick turnaround Thursday night against the Bengals, who are rolling right now. Joe Burrow looking every bit like an MVP candidate again. The Chargers, okay. And then we'll round out their top 10. Okay? So after us at 7, which is the best record in football, is 7th in their ranks, right? They round out with the Chargers at 4-4. The Cincinnati Bengals, and the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's the rest of that's 8 through 10. The Chargers shouldn't even be in the top 10 with all their inconsistencies. I like Justin Herbert. I think he's a great talent. But 4-4 with all that talent, you want to tell me it's the coach? Then fire him. But until then, and until you get another coach, and maybe they start winning some games, the quarterback wears it just as much as the coach. And that team underachieves. Cincinnati should probably be a little higher, considering they look to have rounded back into form. But they've got a sneaky trap game this week against Houston. In case anybody hasn't been watching, C.J. Stroud looking every bit like the Rookie of the Year. They also may be going into that game without Jamar Chase. And T. Higgins is still nursing the bruised ribs, has not had a good year. Not saying that Cincinnati's going to lose that game. Just saying keep an eye on it and watch the spread if you're a gambling type. I put Jacksonville in front of both of them. I think they're easily the most consistent at this point. I don't know the BS metric that ESPN is conjuring up to make a list like that. But for me, I'm just going to use this as one more reason to not watch that station unless there's a game on or it's one of their 30 for 30 series, which I absolutely adore, or something ultra specific that I want to see some expert dissect. All right. Other than that, it's just another woke network that drives me nuts. And I'm sorry, but I just have no, I mean, where in the blue hell does the 8-1 best record in football? This isn't college. You know, 8-1 in the NFL is 8-1. It's the best record in the league. Okay? You want to put Kansas City up there because they're Patrick Mahomes and all their BS. They're 7-2. Baltimore's 7-2. They've been playing better than almost anyone in the league. I can deal with some of that, but Buffalo, Miami, and Dallas after we already beat them, San Francisco on a 3-game losing streak where they've only scored 51 points over those 3 games. Sorry, I can't. And there's your last rant for the evening. One more time over to the room, and then we're gonna call it a night. I am starving. John Lynch, Midwest Eagles Nest representative here. Great show. Can't wait to watch a game with you guys at the back porch. Come on up, brother. It is always a blast. I'll be out for the Kansas City game. It's a Monday night. The crowd might be kind of light, so I don't know what your plans on there, but we do have a string of everything else is Sundays from here on out after that. Lou Mancini, not 6 man, 7, right? Keenan Harmon, I love it when we get no respect. And you know what, Keenan? You're right. Patrick Parker, flat out hating our Eagles. Speak facts, my friend. Yeah, they are. And Keenan, you're exactly right. I usually am the same way. I look at it, they're just hating, whatever. Let them hate, they hate us because they hate us. And I don't say ain't us. I say they hate us because they ain't us. Anyways, folks, that's all the time I got for tonight. I hope I've been able to entertain you a little bit for the last hour-ish. Come back next week. We will try to break down the Kansas City game a little bit. take a look at what some of our biggest competition would have done over this past weekend. San Francisco coming out of the bye. Definitely want to have your eyes on that. Want to take a look at what Dallas is doing. Kansas City's on a bye the same week we are, so both teams should be fresh going into that Monday night matchup. But Patrick Parker, Keenan Harmon, Lou Mancini, John Lynch, Russ Taylor, Andrew Bagley, Michael Scott, Stacy Rogers. I don't want to miss anybody here. Brian Wells, Suzanne Trainer, and everyone else out there on the interwebs. This has been the Unhappy Gilmore Show, powered by Green Legion Radio and part of the Green Legion Radio family. Thank you, as always, for joining us again. Come back next week, same bat time, same bat channel. We'll try to break down Kansas City. Look forward to heading out there and catching up with some Green Legion folks. Until then, folks, be good. Enjoy the weekend. Be safe. If you've got Friday off for the Veterans Day, enjoy. And, one more thing. Happy birthday to my mother, Joyce Russ. Today is her birthday. I meant to do that at the top of the show, and I got sidetracked. So, for all of you out there, from all of us here, enjoy the weekend. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Remember, the judge isn't back in until Monday. And, as always, go Birds! All right, kids, we're going to get out of here. Thank you very much. Take care. Love you.